Okay, so now that we've wedged our clay, we're going to learn how to center. So I'm going to take my clay. It's a little bit big, so I'm going to cut it into two pieces. You should start by working with pieces that are about the size of a large orange or a small grapefruit. And you pack it just the way you would do a snowball. So you make it nice and round. If you start with a nice round piece, it's a little bit easier to get it centered. So I like to make 2 or 3 balls of clay at a time, and that way I don't have to interrupt myself each time to wedge another piece of clay. Okay, so I'm going to take my round bat, and I'm going to put it on here. Okay, so now I'm going to take my clay and I'm going to slam it down in the middle of the wheel. I'm going to turn the wheel on, and I'm going to get the wheel going. If you can see that. So I don't want to go too fast, sort of a medium speed. And if you notice, I didn't put any water on the wheel. You want it to be completely dry between the clay and the bat. But once you've got it on the bat and it's stuck on there, then I take some water with a sponge and I squeeze it on top of the clay. So now I'm going to take my left hand and push down. I'm going to go a little bit faster. And then I put my 2 wrists together and I lean my hands, my arms on the splash pan, and I push like I'm locking my hands on the clay. And then I slowly come up the sides until I bring it to a point. I keep the clay wet. And now I'm going to put my thumb over the top, my left thumb, and I put my right hand over that, and I push down. So what centering means is that if there were a stick going down through the center of this clay, there would be an even amount of clay all the way around. Because that's important, because if you have more clay on one side of center than on the other, when you go to bring your clay up, you'll either have a fatter wall or a taller wall on the side where you have more clay. So I'm going to continue pushing down. And now I'm going to bring it up again. So I get my wrists kind of turned. So I've got this kind of cupping motion going on. And I squeeze the clay to bring it up to a point. And then I push down again. Now, there are hundreds of ways of doing this. You may watch a video on YouTube and see somebody center a completely different way than I do. That's fine. And you may develop your own method of centering the clay. It's really a matter of what works for you. I show you the way I do it because that works for me. Okay, so the goal is to get a piece of clay that barely looks like it's moving. So if I put my finger up against the side of the clay, it hits evenly all the way around, top and bottom. The bottom is a little bit off. So I want the clay to look like a birthday cake. It should have a flat top. It should have a straight side. Now, if you're going to make a cylinder, you start in the birthday cake position. If you're going to make a bowl, you bring it down further. And you'll see why as we start making the different shapes. So now I've got a lower and flatter mound of clay. Now if I'm going to make a plate, I go down even further. And a lot of it is really just common sense, that you start with a ball of clay that is going to make it easier to make the shape that you want to make. Okay, so that is centering.